So here we go. Someone's unmuting themselves. Let that happen. I didn't stop that from being able to happen. So welcome if you're watching this on the replay. We're just about to get started. This session is with Ilan. So as I've just talked about, we like to encourage people to take a little bit of rest between sessions and not watch too many sessions and all of this sort of stuff. That's what Ilan's done. She's got a lot of sessions this week, so she's actually pre-recorded some sessions for us. So that's what this session is it's a pre-recording. So I'll just get that started in a second. I'll give a little introduction to who Ilan is, because she hasn't quite been today, but she's going to be a lot in the next few days. So let me get ready to press record, and yeah, then we'll get started. Yes, good day everyone. If you're just joining us, we're just starting a couple minutes late because the last session went right until the hour. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? So welcome everyone to this session. So this session is going to be a session by Ilan. So what you don't know about trauma and how it can hurt you. And in case you don't know Ilan, she's actually recorded a product on healing from trauma using a shaking method for this summit. And she's a trauma educator. She's a best-selling author and a researcher in the fields of sexuality, spirituality, collective trauma healing, and embodiment. So she's been a sex worker in the past, and she has first-hand experience in coming back from difficult places, from trauma, and turning tough stuff into fuel for truly living. So one of her big things is how you can turn your trauma into superpowers. So a few little things before we start. So please do, as I've just said, share this around with anyone you know who could benefit from this. Send the links to them. I'll drop it there in the chat again. So share it so they can register, they can get the replays of any session. Particularly if they get the all access pass, you get unlimited sessions and also the live Q&As. And you can also check out if you're interested in what Ilan offers as well. There's a link there for that if you're curious. If you are here, obviously Ilan's not doing this one live. It's a pre-record because she's doing self-care, so she's not doing too much this week. But if you want to have your cameras on, that's very welcome, so I can sort of just make sure everyone looks okay as well and isn't doing things too hard. On that note, just a safety note as well, particularly if you're just here for the last session that just finished. Are you resourced enough for this session right now? Would it be kind for you to sit through this session, or would it be better maybe to catch it on the replay, or give yourself a bit of a break, whether it's out in nature or with friends or family or anything else? So also, would you be better served by having one-to-one therapy? So this session's educational, it's not therapy. And if there's some tough stuff going on in your life right now, we'd maybe recommend going and doing that. Many of the teachers, like Ilan, like we've just mentioned, have dealt with trauma in the past. So there's no judgment if you do decide that education right now is not for you. And also, like I've said, don't binge these, don't do too many in a row, because this can be quite a heavy topic. And even if you think you're okay, sometimes if you really you may listen and go, actually, no, I do need a little bit of a break. I need to do something else. So even if it's during this session, if you tense up or you're agitated or you space out, move a bit, breathe a bit, go grab water or something to eat, or talk to a friend, or go for a walk outside, whatever you need to take care of yourself. And you can always watch it later. This could be a lot of fun. Obviously, some things get tough. Ilan also has a way of, like I've mentioned, taking heavy topics and actually turning them into, sort of switch them around and viewing things from a positive light. And sometimes that can be a little triggering for people. She can make jokes and that. So just bear that in mind, that she takes what she does very seriously, but she's also happy to find the play within heavy topics, and it's something that we like a lot. So after this session as well, move, good company, nature, whatever you need. So having said all that, I'll get this session started with Ilan, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, obviously pre-recorded, but you can check out the Q&As tomorrow if you have any questions around anything that comes up during this session.
Welcome to the session. What you don't know about trauma and how it can hurt you. It's a little bit weird that I'm talking about this topic because it's like what you don't know about trauma and I know. So I'm the same bloody student like you, like all of us, just a bloody student of life. And to some extent, when we are talking about trauma, we are all lowly initiates just because the wisdom and the depth of trauma is so deep. So I'm very aware of that. However, thank you for your trust. Thank you for tuning into that topic. And I still consider, even though this topic to be super relevant, because when it comes to any kind of not knowing, we do not know what we do not know. But that we do not know stuff doesn't mean that it doesn't have any impact on our life. So just in case that stuff that you do not know has a disastrous impact on your life, you should know. And when it comes to trauma, unfortunately, trauma is the global topic that has hit just every being, every human being on earth in these modern times. And at the same time, everybody learns to avoid it. Everybody learns to hide it. It's almost like hiding trauma is a trauma symptom in itself, an inevitable one, a one that all of us share. Nobody is running around, look at me, I'm wounded, I'm not feeling safe. So what you don't know about trauma is something that maybe you hide from yourself, but also only because everybody else is hiding as well. And as a little child, often we get wounded and we talk about that. And the parents, the caretakers, whoever, the adult world, the outer world is like, wow, what are we doing with that? Or in worst cases, not even believing. And then we shut up. It's a very, very painful process being passed on to generation after generation after generation. So, what do you not know about trauma is so relevant because it might be the golden key to you ending a kind of spiral of misunderstanding. And it's not only I'm confused and misunderstanding, but when we are misunderstanding the matter of trauma, we are putting it against ourselves. And that is incredibly important. What you do not know about trauma is something where you can't read your own trauma symptoms. Let me give you an example. There is something like you tend to do binge eating and you hate yourself for that. And you blame yourself as just being undisciplined or something like that. Nothing could be far from the truth. Your nervous system is starving for essential nourishment. And starving for essential nourishment is exactly a symptom of hidden trauma. So, the moment we tap into this language of our more than innocent nervous system and gain back this access, those ingredients to essential nourishment, however that looks like, softness, caretaking, touch, whatever that is, slowing down, more holidays, whatever that is, like miraculously, our binge eating stops. It doesn't stop from you hating yourself. It doesn't stop from you beating yourself internally up. It stops from you knowing something about trauma that you didn't know before. The moment you can know is the moment that you can apply fairness, grace, wisdom, healing dynamics onto your path. And that is the breakthrough. So, this is a very short session and it's a very vast topic because honestly, when I just read through my list, what I didn't know about trauma, and I at least nowadays know about trauma, It's a huge list. Even reading would take up those 20 minutes. So this is not about me reading my list of this is my former confusion, but I want to cover a few things that I came across also in working with hundreds and hundreds of clients, and almost all of them faced those things. I want to mention and emphasize and stretch in this session a few things that I think is not talked enough in this current scene of trauma recovery or trauma healing or talking therapy or therapeutic scene, because it's I would have even used the word warning. It's not a warning, but it is something like, hey, take care onto yourself. It's hard if you blame yourself, and the sooner we manage exiting the secret addiction of blaming ourselves for being wounded, for having hidden trauma, the better. First of all, there is a thing around trauma symptom. Do you suffer from trauma? And then somebody is like, no, I get along. I have enough money. I have a job. I have a family. I sleep at night. No. So when there is no flashback, when there is no obvious addiction, when there is no catastrophe, when there is no, I really hurt myself, then we tend to say no. One thing that you might not know about trauma is the even deeper symptoms of hidden trauma are not the tense shoulders, the stress every day 24/7. It's almost like the emptiness, the kind of functioning. The more you get along that brilliantly in your adult life, the more everybody around applauds and says that you are onto a good career or whatever, the more anybody around you or you believe in you being perfect. I mean, you being perfect, okay, could be a double word, but let's say anybody else, it's like, oh, just perfect, no problems around there. The more it is about that, the more it is likely that this performance, this 24/7 kind of mask, is a symptom of hidden trauma / insecurity / hidden idea of not enoughness. I did a whole session around the idea of being not enough, so you might want to check that out as well. However, I think it's so seductive for us. I do not sense a symptom of hidden trauma. I do not remember concretely who has hit me as a child. So no, I'm not suffering from trauma. What you might know about trauma is trauma symptoms show up as collapse. They show up as functioning. They show up as emptiness. They show up as constant okayness. It's almost like somebody who messes up life and is just in a chaotic way of change after change after change. And it's like, whoa, this is so thrilling and alive. Might get better along when it comes in terms of aliveness and energy than somebody who is just every morning correct and working perfectly in the company or wherever, fulfilling every expectation that somebody brings onto them. So the first thing, don't believe in trauma healing would have anything to do with a steady life, a constant kind of repetition day after day after day, or a life without problems. It's almost like the more you sense the challenge, the more you sense the change, the more you're like, okay, I will move one more time, I will transform one more time, and then I rest. And then I take a break. And then my life is fixed, and that is my path in life. The more you are onto this illusion, the more it's likely that it's an illusion. It's really sensing that life is tough from time to time, sensing that life is intense, sensing that something like boredom or everyday routine is an illusion, and something like an everyday adventure, an everyday kind of whoa, that is something that's so much more comparable to the effects of trauma healing than something well regulated, well temperatured, that is mature and discusses everything peacefully. So that's the first thing. Coming to the next point, and that is super important, even though it is related to what I've mentioned so far. Let's say it like that. I will cover it coming from my own trauma healing story. So I finally admitted, okay, I have some layers of trauma in my nervous system. And then I headed onto trauma therapy. First of all, I had a kind of mix between talking therapy and embodiment practice. Also combining, for example, somatic experiencing, something super amazing. I'm sure you check that out. It's a super amazing method. And I had a great therapist. And there was a narrative in my background of, I am not healed. I need healing from trauma. I am treated by people who are healed. They have not been healed all their life. However, now they are healed. And I need this unconditional love from them. I need their kind of grace or divine light or healed light or vibe of being without any mistake or without any judgment. They have no triggers in their relationship. And I will get there one day as well. So that is me projecting perfection onto my therapist, but eventually me projecting perfection onto the whole world around. I am the unhealed one in a healed world. And because the world around is healed, it has the superpowers to heal me. Here's why I'm saying that. That's deeply wrong. No matter how traumatized you are, consider the world around to be even more traumatized in this very moment. No matter how traumatized you are, consider the world around to be even more traumatized than you are in this very moment. No false respect from the healing level or healed level, being healed of the outer world. That in itself is the false respect hinting towards hidden trauma being hidden in you. Super, super important. So that is, first of all, a little bit our kind of breakdown. But if they are the even less healed than me, then I'm a hopeless case because I can't heal it in an unperfect setting. And here are the good news. This is wrong. We have been healing our woundings from the past. We have been doing that for the last billions and billions of years as mammals, just crawling around on this fantastic, awesome global planet in suboptimal circumstances. Life has always been like a tiger, for example, healing from a fight, healing from a wound. She or he, tigress or tiger, didn't have like vacation and nobody else could attack their children or anything like that. They just feel a little bit safe and unwind as much from the trauma as they can afford for the moment. And then they keep on with their everyday business and heal even more when they feel safe again. So it's like healing drops, healing layers are happening in your nervous system whenever you feel safe. Whenever you feel a little bit safe, there is no unconditional love from a perfect method needed in order for you to heal. Quite the opposite. You are so miraculous. You are so super talented. You are so super powerful when it comes to your nervous system's design that you will heal your trauma in a world that will learn from you how to heal the global trauma. It is you heading towards the front. It is you becoming some kind of involuntary leader in this. Just because like overcoming the global level of hidden trauma is a super easy thing. So many people do not have the access to the resources, to the online courses that we are offering here, to all this abundance of stuff and sequences and practical application, etc. So many people do not have this access. They are just stuck in what they see around. Hidden trauma, hidden trauma, hidden trauma, leading to hidden trauma, next generation and next generation. And we are in this very privileged situation of breaking free, breaking that chain, breaking that burden, breaking with that bad tradition or tragic or tradition of suffering, so to speak. So that is why I deeply invite you to not look at the world around with this false respect of anybody would be more healed than you, or also any expert, for example, that you are meeting in this trauma event, would be over it, would be through. It's all of that is a symptom of hidden trauma in you, of I am not good enough. I have to achieve the state that somebody else already achieved. Why? Because she or he did it right. Right? And that's a kind of punishment game. That's not something that leads into healing or de-stressing direction. So this is so super important because you eventually unlearn to blame yourself and misunderstand yourself. And this in itself is so healing because it's you. How do I frame that? It's you keeping on track with the state of healing in your nervous system. It's like when I see my healing journey going on and on and on, of course. But when I see my healing journey, like my nervous system was healing and healing and healing and healing. And my self-image was like stuck in, I'm a neurotic person being completely over the top and a mess in every aspect of my life. And my nervous system was like, oh, I have more fun, I have more energy, la la li, la 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 li. And my self-image one day was like, what? I felt safe with a man in the same space. Wow, me, that happened. And it was some kind of awakening shock. My nervous system was like, yes, every day, a little bit more safety. So stay on track with how much you are de-stressing. Trauma healing is not a miracle when it comes to your body. It's not something that you have to pray for. It's just something that we have to create a culture around altogether. And then it's just our most natural instincts taking over. This is the last thing that I want to mention, what you didn't know about trauma, and it might hurt you if you do not know that. Trauma healing is a thing for your nervous system. It's not a thing for your emotions. I'm saying that because when you are onto trauma healing, you might hear you need to be friend with your rage. You need to be friend with your emotions, with your anger. And for many of us, that works. For me, it didn't work. I say that up front, but for many of us, that works. However, where it doesn't work, it leads to the following. I'm sitting there in my therapy being totally stressed out. I need to feel anger. I need to feel anger. I need to feel the pain. I need to cry when I'm talking about my childhood trauma. And I don't cry and I don't feel anger. I'm blocked. I will never heal. I don't feel my emotions. What do I feel right now? I even had a teacher. He wasn't a trauma teacher. He wasn't into trauma. Otherwise, I think he wouldn't have framed it that way. Who said, always, always, always feel your emotions. I would even say, I mean, that's a little bit too hard, but that re-traumatized me in a way of 24/7. I had a job where I failed and failed and failed because I wasn't in touch with my emotions. So here is the thing. That's no problem. Your emotions will come up, unwind, orient, and nourish you in the most natural way when you are focusing on sensations. Trauma healing is stuff for your nervous system. It's stuff for your senses and not primarily from your emotions. If your emotions come up, if the story of your childhood comes up, I'm happy to hear that. It's so worth to share that. You do not have to remember it. You do not have to feel it. You do not have to connect to the emotions in the very first place. Connect to your very sensations in the very moment. And yes, moment by moment by moment. So this is a kind of super simple somatic prayer. Whenever you get caught up into comparison, the rest is healed. I'm not. Whenever you are busy with, I need to feel something. I need to feel something. I think I should be angry at him. I think I should be angry at her. I think I should do something, feel something with the outer world. Stop being busy with that. Just because this kind of busyness doesn't lead to anything else but another round of stress. And instead of that, let's do something like the somatic prayer that I invite you to do together with me for 3 more minutes at the end of the session. So if you want to follow my words, you can stand up. It's so super simple. However, it's a kind of awakening kiss for your senses. I am flowing underneath of the stress of, oh, I should feel my emotions or anything, or I should be anybody else, or I should be at another point in my healing journey than I am at the moment. So if you want to follow my words, stand up, put your feet hip distant apart, close your eyes, start breathing through your mouth. And for a moment, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Maybe exhaling with a sigh. So the moment you are catching yourself or noticing, okay, I'm busy with what am I feeling? What are my emotions? How should I respond or whatever? Just close your eyes, sigh for a moment. And now softly bounce in your knees. Closed eyes, rub your hands. Cover your eyes with your hands, soft bouncing in your knees. Relaxing your eyes, also blaming yourself, even hating yourself. It's impossible if the eye muscles are soft. So allow them to soften in the darkness. And then give your head brain a little massage. Give your head a little massage. Give your skull a little massage. You can move your pelvis. The bouncing might be super soft, but it's like, oh, Ilan, stop judging yourself. Stop waiting for something that you feel or should feel. Just exhale with a sigh, moving a little bit, massaging your skull. And wherever you feel this tension, or I should, I must, I whatever, wherever you feel that tension, massage your forehead, your temples, around your ears. When you are covering with your firm massage and pressure the whole skull, you are massaging automatically reflex zones for your whole body and every organ, just because your whole body in reflex zones is also kind of printed on your skull. So breathing or sounding, massaging your skull and every belief system, just massaging it out of your head. Every stress-inducing thought, or sense your sky, not being busy with thinking, not being busy with judging, not being busy with putting expectations on you, sensing your sky, sensing your sky. Yes, yay, sensations even in your head brain. Wow. That's mastery. Sense your head brain. Sense your skull as everything is somatic. Everything is physical. And allow yourself to enjoy the sensation. We are not into improving ourselves. We are not into fixing ourselves. We are into massaging lazily our skull. Enjoying the laziness of the moment, slowing down the pace, softly opening your eyes, keeping massaging your skull. That's a little bit difficult because we are looking into the outer world and at the same time we stay connected to the sensations. Yay, that's great. Moving around, I could say roll around with your eyes, a little bit from side to side, like roll around. Oh my God, this important outer world. Oh, wow. Making a few funny sounds, respectless sounds that are just fun. Wow. Happening for nothing but fun. Life happening for nothing but fun and aliveness. Then drop your hands. keep sensing your skull, moving your neck a little bit. Hello, mind, you are just another organ. Hello, mind, you are just another awesome part of my body. Yay. So this is reawakening our natural instincts for trauma healing. You're so welcome to join us in an even deeper deep dive into moving beyond trauma in the upcoming trauma courses. I think it's just an awesome bundle of online trainings that really take us all together deep into the healing stuff and knowledge and wisdom of the own nervous system. Thank you for trusting me in this sequence, and even more trusting yourself.
There we go. So even though Ilan's not here right now, it was great being there, recording that session with her, and I hope everyone here benefited something from there. So if there was something you would like to take away from that, please do type it in the chat or write it down for yourself. I'll pass on stuff to Ilan if you type anything in here, or if you have something you just want to just have to yourself, that's totally fine as well. As usual, we want you to benefit from each of these sessions. So grab something that you want to just hold on to that you can take forward into your life. A few little takeaways as usual as well. So Ilan did mention her course there. So she's doing a course which will sort of be progressive over a number of weeks. And I'll pop the link down there in the chat, embodimentunlimited.com/trauma-is-your-superpower. And there's also a course that's a bigger version of that. It's on superpowers, but just check it out if you're interested. And there's plenty of time to decide if you want to do it as well. It's super cheap because we want as many people as possible to benefit from it. If you are someone who can't actually afford something like that though, or you're from the global south, you can also email us, support@embodimentunlimited.com, and we can try and sort out something for you there as well. In terms of other stuff, people are asking, replays will be sent out from tomorrow. So, or if you're watching on the replay, then you don't need to, it won't be tomorrow because you've already got it. But so yeah, the replays will be sent out, so no stress about that. There's obviously plenty more sessions coming up the rest of this day, but don't overwatch or binge watch on sessions. Take care of yourself as you need. Move, do something nice like Ilan did with us just there. Oh, I need a breath as well, don't I? Obviously you've seen a tiny little bit of what Ilan does. She does a lot more around shaking and movement in her course, but there's plenty of other things as well. Like you heard her mention somatic experience in there. We've got TRE with David Treleaven coming up, EMDR, which Roger Mills does in his Q&A sessions at midday UK time each day. So there's a lot of good stuff you can use for trauma healing. And finally, just do share this with a friend. I said it at the start as well, but I'll say it again. Think of someone who could benefit from this or any of the other sessions, and actually message this to them and say, hey, this session is for you. We try to make a session for everyone, whether it was around like anxiety or anger or arrogance or a sense of needing to forgive. There's a session for everything. So do share those with people, and because we want everyone to get some good stuff from it. And mentioning sessions coming up, there's a bloody shitload of them. Did I give you a swearing warning? It's okay. Like, that's just normal because it's Australian. So if you want to check out some of the sessions that are coming up, we've got Mark doing one here. It wasn't that bad. So how trauma impacts even normal people, whatever that is. And then Patricia, if you just saw her, she's also doing another session, subtle damage, emotional abuse leaves. We've got a very fun one here, and not for the easily offended, on how not to use yoga and meditation as an emotional bypass also later on. Christina's back, looking at invisible stress baseline, like we might feel stressed in a particular moment, but actually looking at where we are in our everyday lives. There's a heap of sessions coming out tomorrow. If you're a German speaker as well, Ilan will be doing 2 sessions in German. I won't try to pronounce them. Like you can see, I'm not going to be able to do that. But there's also a panel, German panel as well, with a few other German sessions. And Ilan generally is on at 1 p.m. UK time each day as well. There'll be a panel on trauma and sexual violence and a few other things as well. So share it around with people. Come back for as many sessions as you want, but not too many. Don't binge it. Take care of yourselves. Again, after this as well, if you need to move, if you need to resource yourself, have a chat to someone, do whatever you need to be here and present and not going into sort of past difficult things. So we'll be back in about 23 minutes. They'll open the room in like 20 minutes or something. Um, take care of yourselves, and I hope you got something from this session. So thank you, everyone. It's been nice, and we'll see you soon.